Good morning. How are you all this morning? It's Leanne Boyd, and welcome to my Fearlessly Free TV. This morning, I wanted to talk to you about understanding your feminine power and how you can actually get your menstrual cycle to work in your favor. I know that in the past, I'm the other side of it now. I've gone through menopause and I didn't have a problem going through menopause. I didn't have any hot flashes or anything or any of those symptoms. I was very, very lucky, but then I knew how to control it as well. So yes, I'm through the other side, but I wish that I had known the information I'm going to share with you now back when I did have my cycle, back when I was having those monthly down times just before my period, and I wish I did know how I could use my cycle to my advantage. I know a lot of girls will get their cycle recycling and they go, oh no, I just can't stand it. There's a lot of negativity around women having periods. I actually didn't have that negativity around mine. I actually enjoyed, believe it or not, having my monthly periods. But I know a lot of women don't. So I just wanted to come on today and share with you how you can actually get in tune with your body more so you can actually use your feminine cycle, your female cyclic power, and take advantage of it. And particularly if you're setting goals or you're in business and you've got dates that are coming up, important dates that are coming up in your calendar. If you know the information I'm about to share with you, then you can book those important meetings or schedule those important dates at the right time in your month where you're going to actually be at your ultimate best and optimize that meeting and schedule to the best of your ability, to your feminine ability. So, you can get the most, as I said, out of your personal and business life simply by understanding the times of your month when you know you're going to power through and be your most creative. You will get all your tasks done to achieve the most with no hesitation when you tune into this, because you'll be completely in tune with your feminine power. It's no coincidence that the tides go every 28 days, the moon changes every 28 days. Both of those natural earthly things are on a 28-day cycle, and so are we. If we're on a regular 28-day cycle, we are natural cyclic beings. So it's very, very useful if we can tune into that. So this will help you recognize those times when you need to put your feet up in your cycle, when you just need to be kind to yourself and hibernate and just chill, even if it's for a short time, to be kind to yourself rather than power through those times, because you're really not going to get the best out of it. So knowing this gives you a greater understanding of when you can be at your absolute best. And this is a great advantage we have over men, because men don't have this. They're linear logical beings. They're not cyclic in their nature. So when we can tune in to our own cyclic nature, we have an advantage over men because they don't have that at all. And that is also part of our intuitive being as well, part of our intuition. And if you are through menopause like me, or if you've had a hysterectomy, as long as you were born with a uterus, you will still have cyclic moods and changes throughout your month. And if you want to, you can chart that, and I can also I'll upload a chart later that you can download, and you can chart your cycle and your moods and work out a real understanding of yourself and where you're at certain times of the month. Okay, so there are 4 phases of our cycle, and they run with the seasons, and it's summer, autumn, winter, spring. So, and the first phase that we have is our spring phase, which is also known as our dynamic action phase. Okay, so this is in week 1, so day 7 to 13. So the estrogen rises after our menstruation, and we start to feel better after we've gone through that week. Okay, we have the aches and pains and the emotional roller coaster of that week when we get our period, but afterwards you feel a bit refreshed and renewed. So your outlook is different. So in this week, it's an important time for reasserting your values and intentions for the next few weeks, and anchor them strongly in whatever you do in yourself, and strengthen your own surroundings, and your own home life and your own business life. You know, when you stop and think about, I did a values talk a few weeks ago, so you can go back and have a look at that. But this week is really tuning into what's around you. So this is when you plan your month, when you schedule your dates and schedule your meetings and schedule what you want to do around your home, and maybe put a couple of goals up and get things done, and schedule the time in for them. And also think about what your values and intentions are around those items that you've written down. So firmly establish yourself with what your planning is over the next week. So it's very useful in this week, beginning of this week, just after your period, after your period's finished, to really sit down with intention and set your program for the next month, if you like, next few weeks. So the next phase, which is in your second week, is the expressive heart phase. So that's the next time, which is from day 14. So the estrogen is now at its peak, okay? You'll feel beautiful, sexy, and even energetic. I know around ovulation, I always did. I always felt this is my power time. So you feel like you're on top of the world. Your energy is flowing outwards and you feel amazing. You feel a bit sexy. You feel really positive projection towards your projects and your relationships, and everyone around you just delights being around you. It's a great phase to be in, okay? So in this summer period, new and fresh things will appear for you, okay? Because from a natural realm, your ovulation week carries the expectation of new life, which is why you've got that really buzzy feeling. Okay, this is when new thoughts and ideas are going to come to you more likely that week. So this is a good time to spend 1 hour at the beginning of this week, preferably on a Monday, because that's the beginning of your work week, dwelling on any new ideas and ventures and projects. Consider the consequences of how these are going to relate into your life, and also tune into your current responsibilities and your needs, and also tune into the people around you. This is when you are at your heightened beauty and energy and strength, okay? So your new adventures that you put out, they don't need to be big. So give yourself time and your thoughts to actually freely think about those things that you're going to do without any restriction. Don't give yourself time restraints around that. Actually put a little bit of thought into it, because that is going to be your best time. So don't have any judgment on yourself around that time either, and see how the things that you plan are going to fit into your life for that week and the couple of weeks beyond. Okay, so the next week, it's week 3, is your creative and your subconscious phase, and this is the week before you're going to get your cycle, and that's your autumn phase, okay? So after your ovulation, your estrogen levels take a steep nosedive, but then your progesterone levels catch up, and they catch you from falling way into a bottom, bad mood or depression or so forth. So you don't feel as excited, or maybe not quite as energetic and confident as you did in the summer period, but it's still a great week to finish off getting things done. You might find that doubt and maybe insecurities might creep in this week, or you might feel a little bit cranky or grouchy or moody, but your energy begins to turn inward this week. So just understand that about yourself, because you're gearing up for the week that you actually get your period. So you might need to a little bit of downtime that week, to catch your breath, maybe chill a little bit. So this is your moment to dwell and think about anything that you want to change in your life. Maybe think about it in the 15 minutes before you go to sleep at night. So the next and the final week is your winter week. So this is a reflective phase week. Okay, this is the week of your menstruation. So this is when both your estrogen and progesterone levels take a dive in this week 4. And you're sent on a little bit of a emotional roller coaster ride. You might feel a little bit depressed, irritable. You have a little bit of mood swings. You'll be tired. Might get your aches and pains. Maybe your concentration may even be a bit poor. And it all seems to hit you at once. And sometimes you just don't know what to expect, and you're very prone to perhaps emotional triggers this week too. Something could set you off easily. Yes, I know. I used to have a friend of mine whose husband said, "This is the week I hide the knives." But anyway, I don't think it was that bad. But he just like to exaggerate about it. But anyway, so you feel like you want to withdraw and hibernate a little bit into your cave. And this is the week where you really need to nurture yourself. Your period's coming up. People just seem to want to leave you alone because that's what you're projecting out. But you just need to just be a little bit kind and nurture yourself that week. It can be a little bit of a stormy week. But now that you know that this is normal fluctuations with your hormones, and how your weeks will change from one week to the next because of it, you do know now that to be a little bit kinder to yourself, but don't lose hope that winter week. You just need to try and remember that the next week is spring. So it's just around the corner so that you can get back into the flow again of planning your next month. So that winter week is actually a great time to stop and reflect, think about your purpose, and to truly delve deep into yourself and acknowledge yourself and release anything that's been pent up through the month. So in nature, animals like to hibernate in winter. And it really is a period for quietness where you kind of like to retreat a little bit inside. So if you've planned an important or scheduled an important event or meeting that week, perhaps you may like to acknowledge that exactly where you are that week, and that you may not get exactly the outcome that you want, or it may be really, really much harder that week to get the outcome that you want. And just realize that it's all about where you are at your cycle. So don't beat yourself up about it at all. I know a lot of women tend to beat themselves up if they don't achieve what they want, but when they perhaps stop and look at where they are within their monthly cycle, then they'll realize that, okay, well, that's where I was, and that's why that happened. So it's very important that week to watch your balance in life and watch how much you actually put into that week, because it really is a time for just to settle within yourself and reflect. So in that week, you go through a sort of almost a clearing out within yourself, within your soul, because that's the week that you physically lose the blood from your body. And that also happens with your emotions and your thought patterns. It really is a time for stop, clear out, reflect, okay? The best way possible to make the best of this week is to avoid stresses and pressures. As I said, don't really plan things into that week, or it may be hard. So it's really, really important not to try and make executive wise decisions around this week, especially in the first few days of that week, if possible. Try and avoid that. Stress can also, when you're not in harmony with your cycle, your stresses are higher, but that can also upset your menstruation process. So sometimes it causes changing in the timing of your period when it's actually going to happen. So it's important to concentrate that week on increasing your well-being, okay? Look at what you're eating. Look at how you're resting. Look at the amount of exercise you're doing. Look at what you've planned for that week. It's really an important week to just tune down a little bit and be kind to yourself. I know that the circumstances of life don't always cater for that, but it's a good idea to really try and introduce some quietness in that week, if it's for 5 to 10 minutes a day, and just give yourself that moment of reflection. To utilize this time for settlement and reflection, it's wise also to ponder some questions and to mentally assess parts of your life and circumstances. So it's a clearing out week. If things haven't been happening that you don't actually like, time to think about how to change that, how to move those things on that don't actually sit within your heart and within your soul. So this helps keep thoughts and feelings fresh, and allows you time for evaluation and fine-tuning and direction of your life. Okay, so you're back into your spring week, so you can get going. Okay, so many women find themselves tidying up their homes at the beginning of their spring week. Okay, they've come through that winter week. Even during that winter week, when they're quiet and reflecting, they may find themselves. That's when the tidying up begins. Okay, you might find yourself increased in sensitivity around this week. You just might need to just quiet down, get everything in order, ready for your spring week. It's harder to think clearly if you're on the go all the time and you're not thinking about where you are. So then your cycle will repeat itself, and you will be able to, as months go by, if you chart this, you'll be able to refine and deepen your connection with this process. So I really recommend, it's a great journey of self-discovery, if you like, to actually chart your cycle and your mood swings, what's happening in your body around that time, and chart it for, I'd say, at least 3 months, so you can see what patterns you have and really get a good understanding of yourself. I know myself, when I wanted to start a family, I actually charted everything for 6 months, and then I knew exactly what I was doing when, and then when I went to have my, when I went to start trying to have a baby, because I knew my body so well and myself so well, then, I fell pregnant first month, and I was not a young mother. I was mother-to-be. I was 35 when I started my family. So that's why I really wanted to give myself that time to understand myself better, because I was going to be an older mum. So it really does make a difference. Really, really is important for women to be in tune with themselves. So the more conscious you are of the 4 seasons in our cycle, you'll be able to develop your time, you'll be able to develop your business, you'll be able to develop your own personal life, more to be in tune with what you want, and it will also deepen your appreciation of your female gender. And you will understand the magic intuitional power that you actually possess by being a cyclic being. So I'll just summarize all that up for you. So your personal cycle does affect your relationships, your work ability, your outcome, your creativity, your communication, your emotions, your soundness of mind, and your ability to make decisions. So when you realize that, life gets easier. You start to see things more clearly. The big picture starts to fall into place, and you can tune into the finer details when you need to tune into them. You can achieve outcomes for yourself when you work to your cycle much easier than if you don't. Your enthusiasm will be higher at certain times of the month, and that's your power week. Okay, that's in your summer period, that week of ovulation. You'll be able to know when your care factors about your personal life, your business, and others are higher, and you'll be able to perceive yourself better. Okay, you'll be able to attack things with optimism. You'll know when your energy levels are higher, and you'll know when you're feeling more compassion towards others and compassion towards what you're doing. So here's a quick summary of 6 things that you need to take notice of. So do the right things at the right time, not the wrong thing at the wrong time. Number 2 is give up striving for consistency. because you are as a cycling being, so your cycle is going to fluctuate, and so are you. So we have a cycle, so expect change, not sameness all the time for the week. Live in alignment with your natural cycle, not against it. Be gentle on yourself and use this power and this knowledge for your own internal and external harmony in your life. So I hope that helps with understanding your feminine power a lot better. So thank you for watching, and this is Leanne Boyd, and I look forward to seeing you next week. And you can always reach out to me on Facebook in my Fearlessly Free Women page, or you can choose to join my Women Building Emotional Resilience. Just find it on Facebook and ask to join the group. And yes, we've got a good vibe happening there. So please reach out to me on Facebook. You can also find me on YouTube, Leanne Boyd, and subscribe to my YouTube channel where all my videos are now and will be in the future. And I look forward to tuning in next week with another great feminine subject to discuss. So have a great week, and thanks for watching. Bye.